Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. Summary. The short story Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes is told from the perspective of a man named Charlie. Charlie has a disability that affects his intelligence, and he has an operation intended to make him smarter. He takes a series of tests first. Afterward, he rapidly gets smarter. He spends time playing with an unusually smart mouse called Algernon, who had the same operation Charlie did. Charlie's new intelligence brings him rewards, but it also damages his relationships with people as he equals and then exceeds their abilities, and the change may not last. Target vocabulary: peak, highest level; clarity, state of thinking clearly; unleashed. Unleashed means released or set loose on the world. Also, it means made a powerful event happen suddenly. Deterioration, process of becoming worse. Symmetrical, having balanced proportions. Spiral means shaped like a coil. Who is Algernon and why is he important? Algernon is a lab mouse. He is important because Dr. Strauss and Dr. Nemmer experimented with surgery on Algernon before performing a similar operation on Charlie. What's the goal of the operation Dr. Strauss performs on Charlie? The goal of the operation is to triple Charlie's IQ, making him much more intelligent. What are 3 ways the operation changes Charlie's life? Charlie becomes able to learn many new subjects, including spelling, pronunciation, foreign languages, and advanced math. Charlie becomes more aware of his emotions and actions of people around him, from his teacher to his co-workers. Charlie becomes a talented researcher. He realizes and explains why the effects of his operation cannot last. What happens to Algernon in May and June? Algernon becomes hostile and his brain deteriorates. Finally, he dies. What happens to Charlie at the end of the story? Charlie is intellectually challenged. He has surgery and becomes a genius. Over time, he deteriorates and returns to his previous intellectual level. What happens during Charlie's first ink blot test? He cannot see any pictures in the ink blot. Why do the doctors use Charlie in their experiment? Because they believe that he is motivated and he wishes to learn. Why do Charlie's fellow workers want him fired? Because they become frightened by Charlie and distrustful of his new intelligence. What is one aspect of the text that shows Charlie is returning to his old condition? He starts to spell badly again. Which phrase best describes Charlie at the end of Flowers for Algernon? He was sad, but hopeful. Why is Algernon's behavior, which Charlie describes in the last lines of this excerpt from Flowers for Algernon, important? We have here some choices. First, it suggests what will likely happen to Charlie, or it worries Charlie because he adores his pet, or it implies that Dr. Strauss is fraud, or it interferes with Charlie's work. Actually, the right answer, as you are all thinking, is that yes, you're right. It's A. It suggests what will likely happen to Charlie.